Hey guys! Welcome to the channel and to part 2 of the Notion tutorial series. If you haven't seen part 1, I will have that pop up in the upper right corner, and that just goes through the Notion command list and their basic uses. So for this video, I'll be focusing more on the features of a table and how to use it to make a budget tracker. So let's get into it and jump into my Notion page. So hi! Welcome to my Notion. Right now, we will take this in 4 steps. I'll type them down so you actually have something to look at. Number 1 is the basic tracker. Number 2 is budgeting. I'm not going to teach you how to budget, but I'm going to add the little budget table. And then the other one is the progress bar. And the last one is the template button. And what is it? Monthly somethings. I can't type. There you go, monthly somethings. So that's gonna be our general outline for today. And actually, I forgot to tell you a while ago that the kind of guide for part 1 is already on my Notion templates link down in the description. There you go. And then the monthly somethings are for those of you who want to pick up the template that I'm gonna show at the end of this video. Okay, so we have to work with, the basic tracker first. So we get 2 tables in here. And why 2 tables? So we need our expense tracker and our kind of like wallet. But because it's Notion, we can actually make it so that we have multiple wallets. So here, so this one I'm gonna just call month 1, or actually I'll just call it month expenses. There you go. And then this one I'm gonna go call money places. And then, so this is where you're going to input your expenses, or just general expenses, or expenses for the month, depending on how you do it. So, yeah, you just put them here, and then money places is like your virtual wallet. Now, for example, we're just going to add, actually not for example, we're going to put some just columns over here that will help us later. So, starting off, we're going to actually keep the tags, because that's going to be kind of important for later on, for when you're actually using it. So from here, we will add in a date. So there you go. It's just this column. You can just type date. And then why do you have the date? So you can just click on it and you're like, yes, today is July 1. And there you go. Then you can just list down all your expenses for that day of the month. Now we have name. I haven't actually put on full width, but it's fine. So we have the date and then the name of the thing you're spending on. So yeah, we can keep it as name. And then the next is here, we go amount. It's not really amount spent, because we're gonna actually have amount like added and amount minus. Kind of weird, but like income and like spending. So you have your date, your name, your amount, and this is just formatted for the numbers. So it's like what I said in the first video, if you haven't seen it. If you type letters, it doesn't input, but if you type numbers, it does. So there you go. So we have date, name, amount, and then we're gonna use it as a select. So we'll just call it like in out, and in out we'll have income and expense. So you can just pick here if it's an income or an expense that will like minus or plus to money places. There you go. So we'll just get rid of that for now. So we have date, name, amount, in, out, and then tags. So for tags, you can just make it like whatever you spend on. So I'll preload this with food, and then shopping. Oh, by the way, you can put this as a multi-tag or a normal just select tab. So I'll just have it right now like that. So food, shopping, travel, savings, and miscellaneous. So that's just like random things you spend your money on. We'll just have it like that. So now you can just kind of pick from those, and this doesn't really make an impact on the entire system, so you can just add whatever you want in tags or not have it at all if you really want to. Now for money places, it's just gonna be where you store your money. So for me, I'm gonna preload this with wallet, with savings, with bank account, and then have another one which is e-wallet. Especially pandemic times, you get your prices by e-wallet. Okay, so there you go. You have this. So this is actually inspired by a budget tracker I saw from one of my org mates. I don't want to just expose them on my channel, but you know who you are. Thanks for the design, actually. And then what I did was just modify it for my own purposes. There you go. So credits, yeah, credit where credit is due. So I just want to thank them for their design. And then now I'm going to share it with you guys. There you go. So name, and then we can actually remove these tags and then just, you know, delete it. Yes, I want to delete that because we don't need tags on our money places. Now, we need to work on how we're going to get stuff from here to pop up over here. And you do that through something called a relation. A relation just kind of connects these two. So we're connecting month expenses to money places. There you go. So I have a lot of things because I had to test out the actual tutorial. So we'll have to look for budget tracker tutorial. So if you have multiple tables of the same name, you can just look and where they are. There you go. Money places. Create relation. So what does that really do? So what it does is basically it makes a thing that you can kind of grab items from this and assign it to here. What do I mean by that? So for example, we say that we have our starting money over here, right? You can say, actually we can rename this to from where. What do you mean by to from where? So if you have, like, for example, your starting money is about 200, and to from where basically means you can just link it to, for example, your wallet. You have 200 in your wallet, it just goes here, and it connects it to this line. Now, why do we need that? We click over here. Actually, before I do that, we go over here first. I forgot to add something. We go on formula. So formula is basically like an Excel sheet. Look, see, it's just a bunch of things. I'll actually go more into formulas later when we do the budgeting. But right now we go if. If is a command, like an operator, and then if works as if, and then you have a condition. So if we're trying to see if this, right? If it's an income or an expense, so we know if we have to add or subtract it from the starting money that we have, or just the money we have in our money places. So we'll call this add or no. Edit formula. We have to go at it again. So if you look at if, you see it says boolean. Boolean is just a true or false something. If something is true or false, you're basically asking a question. And if the answer is yes, it's this. If the answer is no, it's this. And you can also like kind of state it in this form also. You don't have to use the if just line. We'll actually be using this syntax later on with the budgeting, but right now we're doing this, so it's easy to understand. So if, right, in out equals equals. Equals equals just means it's like, is it equal to? And it's not like it's equal to. It's kind of like a question. Yeah, I know this from like background, like a very, very light background in coding. So there you go. If in and out is, if in or out is equal to income, you put it in quotes because it's like a word and not really a command that you're using. So there you go. If that says income, then just output the amount. That's basically the yes part. If not, output the amount times -1. There you go. It just basically says that if it's an income, you leave it as it is. If it's not an income, or if it's an expense, basically, it becomes a negative. And why do you need that? So, now this is where we get this money places. We go over here, and then we turn this into a roll-up. So what's the difference between a relation and a roll-up? So a relation just allows you to just connect these two. So yeah, so now wallet, you can see wallet is here, and you see that here, this line called starting money is now here. A roll-up actually allows you to get information from this. So money places can actually get information from the month expenses. And how do you do that? So we'll just say month money. There you go, month money. And then you have to just configure the roll-up. You have to actually have a relation to get the information from. So it's related to the month expenses. So to and from where is the same as related to month expenses, just, you know, opposite. And then you go to the property and you go to add or no. And then you just push sum. So now anything that ends up in add or no becomes here. But since we didn't label it as income, it's negative, since we said that only if it's income will it be positive. So we just push income, and now we have money in the account. There you go. That's how you basically do it. And then if you want to stop here, you can. All you have to do is just right click here, hide, right click here, and hide. So now you can basically just use it. You can just add your starting money for all of your accounts, and that's it. But that's basically like part one of the budget tracker. So this is just, you know, just money going into money places, and you can just keep going. So for example, if I do another starting money, you can actually name it the same thing. Starting money, and we say it's about like 500 this time. We label it as an income and we put it inside our e-wallet. It should sync up. There you go. That's it, basically. You can do that, and then if, for example, we spend on like lunch, and lunch is like 100, we'll label it as an expense, and let's say we got it out of our wallet. It should sync up. There you go. Ta-da! And that's basically the first super duper basic version of it. Now, I know it's pandemic times right now, but sooner or later we hope to not have pandemic times, right? So what we usually do, or what I usually do, is I have a budget of how much I'm allowed to spend on my lunch, how much I'm willing to spend on transpo. It feels weird saying transpo. On like transportation. So this is how you make a budget tracker. This is basically just expense tracker. Now, to connect it to a budget, what we have to do is make another table. There you go. So we have the table. We just call it, you know, budget. And then this is going to be what we're going to spend on. So for example, our first thing that we're going to spend on usually is like food. And then school stuff that we need to buy. Transport. You know, we need to get places. Then fun stuff. And miscellaneous spending. There you go. So now we have that. We can actually remove tags because we don't need tags on that. Now, we need to make it that we can actually minus money from here to here, so you know how much you're willing to spend. So now, let's see. We click on here. We need to make a relation again between budget and expenses. So we put a relation over here. We go with expenses. Let's see, month expenses, not template, here, month expenses from the tutorial. There you go. And then you should see there should be another one that pops out. If it doesn't, just make sure to check your properties. See, look, it's related to budget. Click on that and it appears. And that's actually where the hidden parts go. So a while ago we hid add or no, and it's over here. So there you go, it says related to budget. But we can rename it to something a little bit clearer. So we'll say from what budget. So if you have an expense, you can just log it as like, oh, it's from this budget. There you go. So ta-da! There you go. So budget. Over here, we'll call this... Oh, this is just the connection. So actually, we don't have to name this, but then we need to have a roll-up. So over here, we go to roll-up and then call it current spending. There you go. Current spending, and then we need to configure the roll-up to just connect it to this column, which relates back to expenses up there. Go over here, and then instead of doing add or no, we just do amount. And why are we doing that? It's because we're not really assigning it. We don't really add or minus to a budget. You just keep on subtracting money from the budget. So we just need the amount, because if you don't label it as getting subtracted from a budget, then it won't even be here. So there, amount and just sum. So all the spending we have will be there. So let's say, oh, and then we need another one, which is just a normal value. So number over here. And this is current budget. There you go. So for example, if we do food and our current budget is like 500, we can say that, oh look, it's lunch, right? And then we say, yeah, we'll subtract this from our food budget. You should see that it says the current spending is 100 because you spent 100 for lunch, but the maximum you can spend is 500 for the week. So there. And then what we can do is we can just hide this like we did the last one, because we don't really want to see like every single expense that's listed down. So hide. There. And that's actually the thing. This is just the budget. And if you want it like a super duper simple, like it tells you when you're over budget type of thing, you go over here. I mean, like most, like you could see it, but like if you want it to be a bit fancier, but not like that complicated, you can do a formula like this. So if, do the same thing, if your current spending is less than or equal to your current budget, then, right, so that's your basically your condition, then you just output you're still good, right? If not, if that means that your current spending is over, you just go, oh, there you go, you're over budget. There. And then parenthesis. That should just be like a super duper simple if statement that we did on the expenses, but it's just words now. So there you go. Current spending, if your spending is less than or equal to your budget, you're still good. But if you're not, that means it's just greater than your budget, then you're over budget. It's the same thing. So there you go. But yeah, we have to actually put a 0 in here just so that we don't get like the you're over budget things. There you go. And you can actually see it change. So for example, we spend another thing of like, for dinner, we spent like 400. And then we put it on food again. Actually, not 400. Let's say we spent like all our budget on food on like one night. Which actually sadly isn't that far from the reality. Okay, there you go. There you go. So now you would see our total for food is 600. And it tells you 600, 500, you're over budget. There. That's just the super simple way that you can do that. So we can actually delete this one by going like that. So that is the simple, like, telling you if you're good or you're not good type of thing. Now, we'll move on to the third part of this video, which is a progress bar. Now, this is gonna be using this command. It seems really complicated. I'll just keep it down there. But I will explain what this does. So, we can actually use the same thing, the formula, but this is just a lot more complex. But it shouldn't be that hard to figure out once I explain it. So hopefully you guys understand. So if we look at the if statement again, you see that the syntax of it means it has two different forms that it can take. So, Boolean, which is basically the condition that you have, question mark. If it's true, it goes to this value. If it's not true, then it goes to this value. So for those of you who know how to code, you know that you can have nested if statements. It basically means that, like, if this is true, then you get this. But you can kind of make this like, if it's not true, you move on to another if statement. That's basically what's called a nested if statement. And this is what we're going to use over here with this giant formula over here. So you'll start off with a parenthesis, and then you're gonna say, yeah, you go, if your current spending, right? So divide your current spending by your current budget, and if it equals 1, So you see that double equals again. That just basically means it's, you're asking if it's equals and not saying that it's equals. If you get what I mean. There you go. If your spending divided by your current budget equals 1 basically means it's exactly, then you're asking if that's true, basically. Oh, I forgot to put a parenthesis over here. You're basically asking if that's true. You're gonna respond with, or this system is gonna respond with, but instead of getting the sparkles, there you go. Boom. I will, because I can't access my emoji keys right now. Emoji keys. That's what I was trying to say. Emoji keys right now because I'm recording. I'll just say, yay. There you go. That's the thing that we're going to do. So that's basically our first statement, which is basically if our current spending divided by our current budget, right? I'm trying to see if I'm trying to, get this correct because apparently spaces matter a lot in Notion. There you go. If your current spending divided by your current budget is equal to 1, yay! That's your output basically. Now space, colon, space. Then we have another one, so 2. If your spending divided by your budget, right, the same thing, is greater than 1. Oh, you don't need like an equal to because that means this is greater than or equal to, but a greater than sign is actually already a condition in itself. You push space again, question mark. So you're asking, right? So if your spending is greater than 1, that means you've gone over budget. So you go over budget. There you go. Budget. Over budget. There you go. Now it says false part over here. It says false part of conditional expression expected. That basically means that we're not done yet. So it's looking for like the end of everything. So there you go. So we're showing that if you're on budget, it says yay. If you're over budget, it tells you you're over budget, right? Now you push space, colon, space. And then we have to do like the complicated format stuff again. So we go format. What format does actually is just turns anything into a string value. Basically, it just turns anything into actual text that it can display. So format, right? Parenthesis, slice. What does slice do? It gets something, it gets a word, right? And it divides it into its characters, basically. So this one, it says like it's 1, so it removes the first one because it's not inclusive, but it's inclusive of the 5th one. So it just turns into hello over here. There you go. So what it does, we go slice, right? But there is this giant thing over here, and you might be wondering what that is. I'll leave that as a copy paste in my templates link, but right now we'll be using just X's and O's basically. So now we'll try to go parenthesis. This is the filled up one, so we'll do like 10 circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we know it's like a string. There. And then we push space. Then the next part is we need to say what part of this are we going to add. So we're going to add the 0, because coding starts in a 0 basically. 0 is the 1 of coding. Space. Then we need floor. What floor does, it just gets like the lowest. So there you go. It basically rounds it down. That's what floor does. So the floor value of current spending divided by current budget times, or not, that's not times, actually it's X, times 10. And that's what we need. And then we do 2 parentheses. Okay, so that closes up this that we started for floor and closes up the thing we did for slice. There you go. That should be okay. Now push space. And then we need another one. So this is the filled up one. This is the like a full filled up thing of like if it's at 100%, then we do another one, which is format again, right? Slice again, And then we make this the empty one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Oh, I forgot to put my quotation marks to say that it's a string. There we go. Comma, plus, 0, comma, ceiling. It's just seal, as in C-E-I-L. What does that do? It just rounds stuff up. That's basically it. So, ceiling of the same thing. So, current spending divided by current budget times 10, then 2 parentheses. And what we need is a space. So, space, there. So, it's basically just a space enclosed in quotation marks. Now, that just gives you an extra space between words. That's it. And then the next one is format again. Yeah, format again. Round. What round does, it just, rounds stuff. Like, it just rounds it up or rounds it down depending on the value. So 4.4 gets rounded down, but anything on a 0.5 gets rounded up. So there are format, round, parenthesis, again, current spending divided by current budget times 800. So multiply that by 100 and 2 parentheses, space, plus, space, empty. What does empty do? It just returns to you a true or false value. So if the thing is empty, that's basically what you're asking. If, then parenthesis, then put the current spending. If current spending is empty, that's basically what you're asking. Space, question mark, it's an if statement. Then output 0%, right? If it's not, output percent. Because you're just trying to get the percent at the end. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. There. And that should be done. Don't worry, I have a template of this, and I will also have this command on the bottom and also the different forms of the progress bar that you can have. So don't you worry if you don't really get this. You can just keep playing and replaying that part of the video if you really want to understand how this is formatted. This is actually a progress bar command that was made by a creator named Danny Hatcher. He also makes Notion videos, and I got a lot of inspiration for this progress bar. That's actually from his progress bar template, but just adapted it to fit my budget tracker. There you go, push done. There you go, you can see over here. Ta-da! You see that it's 20% of the thing. That's basically what it's trying to say. If current spending 500 is your maximum budget, and then 100 is your current spending, it tells you that it's at 20% of your spending. And that's basically what it does. So we'll call this progress. There you go. I can actually copy paste these in if you want to see what these look like. So edit formula, we go over here and just paste that in. Done. And then you go over here, copy this, edit formula, and then you just paste that in. Done. There you go. Now you have a progress bar. You can actually make it. There you go. That is the progress bar that we have. And then it just, fills it up. So, for example, we put the lunch money now at like 300. See, it expands, and now it's at 60% capacity. And that's how you make the progress bar. Yeah, it got pretty long because I was trying to explain the formula as thoroughly as possible, because I know that a lot of you don't really have the coding background, so I'm trying to explain every single thing. Now, the last part of this, the last part of the tutorial portion is the templates and how to do it for the month. Now, you don't really want like a year's worth of expenses, especially if you're like going to class already, all the way down, and you have to scroll all the way down to get to the end and trying to figure it out. So you can actually make it monthly. How do you do that? So I'll just add a block. We'll add a page. We'll call this month 1. Because I don't want to think of like what month, whatever month it is, just put it. So month expenses. So we'll label this as month 1 expenses. What you'll need to do actually is go over here, click this 6 dots, and just duplicate it. Now, why do you want to duplicate it? Because you have to just change it back to month expenses and just empty it out. Empty it out. So if you already have stuff over here that you've logged, you don't want to delete that, right? So you just go here and empty it out. Now you go over here, push the plus button again, then just start typing template. You'll come across this called a template button. Now what does that do? A template button allows you to just just copy the same thing over and over and over again. We'll call this add expenses chart. There you go. We just delete this little block that they gave us, and then we'll basically grab these 6 blocks, drag it into here. And then what does that do? So if we close it, and then we put it above here, and you click it, it just basically outputs an entire thing of this chart ready for you to use. Then you can just add what month it is over here, and that's it. Well, not exactly. So it just it outputs one right below this block of text. So we'll delete this for now, because what you realize, actually, let's not delete that. What you realize is that this isn't linked up here. So for example, if I have the to and from where, right, and I say it's from my e-wallet and it's an expense, there you go, it's an expense, and I spent like 700 on it, it's not connecting. Why is it not connecting? Because this to and from where is different from the to and from where here, and it's not linking to this roll up. So you can see you have something over here, you have an extra one that says like to and from where, because this one's month 1 already, so you can see it's month 1 expenses. Then you have from month expenses, so just open these, right, and you can see, look, we'll call this big spending so you can actually find it. There you go, big spending. So you call this big spending, right, and it's over here, but it's not reflecting. What's with this, right? So what you actually have to do is each table is separate even if they're named the same. So to reset it, so you already have your template button. That means every month you can have a new thing that you can display, and then you can just drag your old one over here. You can just drag it into a separate page so you can always view it. There you go. And then with that, we have our month expenses, so we'll call this month 2 expenses, and our money places. Now what's with this? Why isn't it working? What you really have to do is, there's an additional thing if you want to have it the same thing. So what you can do is you duplicate money places, so you actually know how much money you have at the end of the month. So duplicate money places. Just make sure you do stuff. There you go. So you have your copy of money places. Go all the way up and drag it over into your month 1 kind of storage unit. And then, so you can see that big spending is over here, right? And then there's big spending over here, but it's not translating to month money. Now we'll just turn month money into month 1 money. Then we have to make our own roll up again for this related to month expenses thing, like we did for month 1 money. Over here, configure roll up, same thing. So copy, month something. Oh no, not starting money. Sometimes it gets a bit confusing because they're all named the same. But there you go. Property, we just need add or no, and then just push sum. Oh, I think I went with the wrong roll up or wrong relation. Is it this one? Yep, there we go. So big spending, you see it. So this is the right roll up, or it's the right relation for the roll up. We go to add or no, and we push sum. So now 700 is here. Now wait, if our money in our e-wallet is, why do we have month 1 money and we have, we'll call this month 2 money? So what's gonna happen? It feels like we started from 0 over here. Now this is where a formula has to come in. So we'll just call this final money. Yeah, I know it's getting like a bit complicated, but this is how like coding this kind of works, honestly. So we just get month 1 money plus month 2 money, and that's it. That's how easy it is, and just, you know, hide all of these. And the cool thing about it is, even if month 1 is in this folder, it still gets accessed by money places, so it doesn't really change. You just have to keep adding and adding and adding. So now, since we had like 500 in our e-wallet last time and our big spending is 700, you can see it's at negative 200. So what happens if you have month 3? All you have to do is do the same, like reconnect the to and from where to your money places. And then on final money, reconnect it, have the roll up, and then on final money, you just add the roll up value you have over here. You just plus and then what you named your roll up value as. And that's basically gonna allow you to see everything. For budget, you can do the same thing as you did for the expenses chart and just have a new, you know, just a template button for it. And then you can just have a new one. You can actually already preload your current budgets on it. So you just click and then you have a new budget. Then you just have to reconnect your current spending to expenses like we did when we set it up. So there you go. Now let's just cut over to the template that I'm going to post. And here we are at my expense tracker template. So if you want to see over here, this is the template link that I have down below in the description if you want to check it out. I have the command over here. Don't worry, I'm going to make this look better. I just have it over here right now. But the expense tracker that we're looking at is over here. And if you want to see like a recap of what I explained in the command list video, it's over here. It's just that it's a lot more orderly than what it looked like in the video. So if we click on expense tracker, this is basically what you're gonna get. You can duplicate this. I have opened it for duplication. I already did the expenses list, like template button. I also have the month budget template button. You can just, you know, add it. And then this one is just called percent to max, but it's the same thing. And it actually has the loading thing, and it tells you if it's good and if it's bad. So this is actually a hazard sign, the triangle with the exclamation point, tell you if you're over budget. So same thing, same commands that I did last time, it's just that the symbols are different. There, this is actually what my actual expense tracker looks like. So it's green, it has, you know, this is just the color, you know, just green background, just made as a divider like I told you guys about last week. And then this is the table of contents. You can actually use it as your storage for your monthly. So I just call it page 1 and page 2 because I don't know if you're going to use it for like 6 months or like a month or maybe just a week. Just transfer that in and then just do the same things that I showed you for the reset of the monthly stuff. So you have to reconnect. I'll say it again. You will have to, if you have a new table, you have to reconnect to and from where to money places. You have to get a new roll up for money places, and then you have to add that new roll up to the formula for current balance. And that's how you reset your month expenses to your money places. And then you also have to reset your from which budget if you have a new table for either month expenses or for the budget or both. You have to always reconnect these two. So you have to reconnect the from which budget over here and then to a new roll up, or basically you just have to reconnect that to total spent. So you just have to go like that, configure the roll up, and then just get the new get a new relation, which is the relation that was created between these two when they were made. And then, you know, type in your total budget. That's just basically just a value, so you can just type that in. And then, there you go. And then you just have your progress bar over here. You can customize this however you want. Right now, I just have it as plant themed. This is just basically like a photo from Unsplash. These are GIFs from Jiffy, and I thought, you know, money flying away is great for an expense tracker. And yeah, that's how and by the way, these are just cropped photos. I just cropped them to be a little bit longer than they are wide so that they can serve as dividers. You can also use that for a divider idea if you want. And it's just like that. So yeah, guys, I guess this is it for the end of part 2 of my Notion series. So yeah, that would be it for my Notion tutorial today. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful and it helped you understand at least a little bit more about tables, formulas, relations, and rollups. By the way, guys, if you've used one of my templates and did a bit of customization yourself of your like own design, own inputs, also leave them in the comments because I'd love to check them out. If you have something you want me to do a tutorial on, some suggestions for other video topics that aren't Notion related, just leave them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. If you found this video interesting, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!